October 15th, 2025. How's it going, guys? Well, I got another video for you. What are we going to talk about? Kansas City, Independence, Missouri. We're going to talk about crime. We're going to talk about drugs. We're going to talk about the homeless. And over here on my street, over here on East 47th Street South, last couple of days, things have picked up again. And we've had a lot more going on, a lot more revving, a lot more booming and stuff. But, up here at that Blueview shopping center up here, back behind, there's a street back behind the Blueview shopping center. And about a week ago, I showed where they were having these parties over the weekend on Friday night, Saturday night. And I mean, it was like a weed factory coming from the smell was just terrific. I mean, just ferocious coming from this house or houses, because the cars were parked along two of the houses out in front. It was so far down where the cars were at, couldn't actually tell where they were because there were people standing out in both yards. Now, why am I bringing this up? Well, yesterday when I come by there had been an incident. Fire truck, emergency vehicle, another one, like a paramedic. And just made me think or two. All this goes hand in hand. When you hear all these fire truck and emergency runs, it's not about fire. It's not about a car wreck. A lot of this stuff has to do with them ODing, taking too much drugs. They can't breathe. They go out on it. Now, I'm not saying that's what this was, but it was in the same vicinity. And, just something that everybody needs to be kind of looking at. Now, another thing I noticed about this up here, this one or two houses back behind this Blueview shopping center where they're having all their big parties over the weekends, was there's another nice fancy house right back to it. And I noticed there's a black family that lives in this house. It's a really nice looking house. He's had to put like chains across like where a circular drive is. He's got now concrete, he had some pillars, but he got a whole bunch of pillars out there in front. And he's got no trespassing signs now out in his yard. And it just made me think about how these people that's doing these drugs, and these aren't just like a regular party, like somebody would go one time. I used to go to parties over on the Kansas side where we used to dance and stuff, listen to rock and roll, all different kinds of music, country, a little bit of everything. But that would be like a one time in a week. These things are going like, Friday night, Saturday night, sometimes even into Sunday night. And it makes you wonder. So I showed this a couple times back about where they were parking these cars. I'm going to show that. But I'm also going to show this emergency vehicle. And I'm also going to show the fire truck that had left the scene from this place up on 47th Street. And it's just another thing, another troubled area, another troubled place, a house that needs to be watched. So let's take a look at this. All right, guys. Oh, yeah, and I forgot I had this up. I might as well just go ahead with this right now, too. Up here, when you go up into Raytown, you see the CNEX. Now, this is a notorious place for them dealing drugs out in front and stuff. But this was just today, okay? And some of these homeless and the ones dealing the drugs and stuff, vehicles and stuff, this vehicle, let me point to this real quick. There was two guys, one gal out here at this vehicle. They were working on this thing. Now, my dad, he ran 11 convenience stores and filling stations for Hudson Oil Company. Then it was KOCH. A lot of people pronounce it Koch Marketing, but it's Coke. A lot of people pronounced it Coke Marketing. And like I say, they would never allow people to work on their cars on the driveway. Now, I don't know. This is sitting right up by the sign. I don't know if CNEX, I assume that they own this property here. But I was just thinking it It didn't look good. And I noticed also off Fina, off 23rd, they've done a lot better. They had some cones and stuff. Come by there again last night too, and guess what? There was some of them hanging out in those cars again. And you have to stay on this because if you don't, they just kind of, just crawl back in. Not good. So let's get on here with this up here real quick. So hold on, guys. Okay, guys, so I want to show this. This is Blueview area. This is up here at the Blueview Shopping Center area. And I'm going to also want to slow this down to speed-wise so I can kind of show this so we don't miss nothing. But this, I don't know. Like I say, all this goes hand in hand with the drugs and stuff. Now this house you're seeing right here, they got pillars. You see these pillars? So I call them pillars, whatever you want to call them. They're cinder blocks painted and not real nice looking. I mean, this guy's got a nice home, nice driveway, but he's put like I said, chain up. And I assume probably why he's had to put the chains up across the circular drive. Because, some of these ones that are doing all these drugs and on the other side, they're not so good. But I'm going to go on down here. He's got no trespassing sign over here on his fence too. But this is right back to this other house, okay? Now you see this other house right here. There's two of them. There's this one on the corner right here, okay? And there must have been 20, 25 cars down this side street. And this is where all this partying, and man, you talk about weed smell. I mean, you could smell this thing a mile away. But where there's weed, there's usually a lot more. You got your meth, you got your fentanyl, you got your cocaine, a little bit of everything. So we're going down here, and I see off to the right the emergency vehicle, the other one. But we're going to get up here at 47th Street, and I'm going to turn. And the fire truck had just left from over there. And I want to show that real quick. Got this in, like I say, speed is slowed down here a little bit. So hold on, guys. So here comes the fire truck. Now, it had already been over there. You know how they send the fire truck and then the paramedic truck or the AMR, one or the other, up there. Just lovely. But see, if they weren't doing all these drugs and stuff, wouldn't have to be, all this taxpayers' money going for this. Is that, why should our money be going for all this stuff? Maybe they should make all these ones that's doing these drugs, if it's drug related like that, maybe they should make them owe up to having to pay for all that. I bet that'd stop a lot of that. So, okay, we're going to go on down here, and I'm going to just speed it up a little bit. And I'm going to turn down this side street, and then we're going to go back to the back dash cam. We're going to get to see this other vehicle flashing, its lights flashing. And guess where it was? Right over by that. Now, hold on. I'm going to put this here because I want to show you this is how bad it gets. See, they got Mercedes and a whole bunch of other fancy cars all the way up and down here. And this goes on over the weekends. Isn't that something? I mean, some of these cars that didn't even have, right correct tags on them. They were expired. Something everybody should be, maybe the police need to be looking at a little bit. So hold on. Okay, guys, so I'm going to do this here. And right here is the same. That's where all these cars get. Okay, you see, I got my cursor's right here. There's a car here, but it's far down, all the way up to the street up there. Basically, on both sides, they pile in on Friday night, Saturday night, sometimes even Sunday night. And I showed 2 different times of this too, and there was people hanging out in the yards and stuff. I posted it and stuff. But I wanted to show that. I want to show how these cars get down there, all down through here. So, just a second. Let me get to my speed control on this here because I want to, so you guys can see this flashing. And you can see the emergency flasher lights on that emergency vehicle up there. See it going back and forth, back and forth. Same area. And like I say, all this goes hand in hand. Same locations. Usually if they're having these parties in these certain areas, just like the way they did here on my street down on 47th Street, then you start seeing, repeat, where their fire trucks and emergency vehicles keep coming. I wanted to show that. And I'm going to go back, bring this back one more time so you guys can see this. This was just yesterday. This is daytime. Yeah, but here you go. Then the ones that are addicts get on. It's like, oh, I can do something. Maybe they just did it a little bit too much. Well, it ain't party night, but it's in the daytime they did it. Yeah. Not good, guys. I wanted to show that. And like I say, last couple of days, stuff has picked up again. I mean, this won't stop until these people are either they catch them, they either arrest them, put them in jail, or until they OD and they don't make it to them in time. I mean, that's the way this stuff goes here. So hold on. All right, guys, we'll wrap this up. But I wanted to get at that out there, and like I say. Oh, yeah, and there was even a deal going on up here. I noticed those 7-Elevens going again up here with them on that back side back there. They're dealing those drugs again. They got some nice fancy cars now. There's a white gown, a big old black, I think it's a big old black Ford. It was up there. And interesting. Very interesting. But that Ford's been sitting up there last several days. All different times. So I wonder what they're doing up there. Oh, I'm sure it's nothing. I'm sure they're selling gummy bears or something, huh, guys? Yeah, buddy. Anyway, keep your eyes open and stay safe out there.